it's Christine again, and this is the BoBunny Stash Bash. It's a series I'm going to do the second Saturday of every month. So this is, what is this? This is May's Saturday. As a reminder, I am using the BoBunny Sunshine Bliss collection. Let's see, if you want to go back and see the whole collection, I think I thumbed through it. I'm sorry, I don't actually remember now that I say all that. But basically, it's very like floral and just feminine in a way. I mean, obviously, you could use it for boys if you really worked hard on it. But it's really pretty. It's got these flowers and frames and this beautiful palette of pink and green and lavender and yellow. It's just a gorgeous collection. So I've got this, now that I'm looking at it, I'm actually kind of working. I did a layout this last time, and I'm doing pretty good. This is the pattern papers. I still have quite a bit. And these are my double dots. And then here are all the, I have 2 sticker sheets. Because y'all, I don't know how I did this, but I ended up with 2 sticker sheets. I still have some scraps. I still have the Noteworthy somewhere in here. Oh, here it is. Noteworthy. And I still have some pretty little stickers. And I still have the stickers that went with the collections. The pattern papers are on there. So the photo I'm going to use this month is this one here. It's the second time I've used a picture of my daughter, but it just fits really well. This little, it was a Snapchat filter or something, and she had some little flowers on it, and it's just really pretty colors. So that looks good. And then I chose this layout here off of Instagram. It's by Janessa Franco, and it looks like it might have been some kind of paper issues challenge. It says facial challenge. I'm not honestly sure what the actual challenge was. But the reason I like it is because she's used, 3 sheets of pattern paper plus like maybe a little solid here. I am going to do this because I'm not going to gut those papers, y'all. And I know that's kind of shocking and upsetting because it's going to be wasting papers, but I'm not going to gut them, and it's on purpose. And plus I have one photo, and then she's got some, cluster of stuff here. And then she's got a little journaling down there. I got to think about that one. Anyway, I think that's a really good option. And I also think it's not going to take me very long, and I need to do some other videos today. So, sorry, Miss Saturn is decided to visit. So that's what I'm going to start on. Give me just a second. I'm going to trim my photo, and then I'll probably go ahead and just start working with the camera on the other pieces. Okay, talk soon. Okay, I'm so excited. This layout took me 30 minutes. That was it. I mean, I had the recording. I just went ahead and recorded the whole time because I didn't really deliberate too much. And I was pretty excited about that. So what I'm showing you here, I don't normally do this on camera, but I'm kind of going through the papers to pick out the, I guess it was 3 pattern papers and the little solid. Now I've already picked the solid over there. That's that double dot. And now I'm going through and I'm picking the patterns. I like this pink a lot, and I'm looking to see what else goes. I like that frame, the gray frame, with all the different colors on it. And then I like that yellow. Now the sketch had a little bit more of a pattern on, I guess what would maybe be considered the yellow piece. There is a tiny little pattern. It's got little tiny flowers on it. But I don't actually go so much pattern. And even though I like the pink, I actually end up yanking it out and using a green. So I've already changed my mind. So that's the 3 patterns I'm going to use. And I've got that little solid, I shouldn't say solid. It's got a little swirly. It's the back side of a double dot, and it's got like a little swirly thing in the middle. And I like that a lot. It's really pretty. So what I'm going to go ahead and do now is cut the little branding strips off. And then I'm going to just basically glue my papers together as per the sketch. And I really like it because you can see the patterns, but then I'm also, like I said on the intro there, I'm not gutting these things. And it's really hard. I almost feel like I'm cheating by not gutting them because I'm going to call this by the time I'm done with this, I'm going to say, I've killed this collection or whatever. And I feel a little guilty because I feel like, in a normal circumstance, I probably would actually gut these things because I'm using so much paper with this, and it's kind of heartbreaking on the one hand. On the other hand, I've had these papers for years and years and years, and they just need to get used. So I'm not gutting them. So I'm just basically using my ATG here, and I'm going to lay these at a little angle. And then when I do it in a minute, I actually try to use my cutter to cut the darn things. And I end up having to use my scissors on the first side, but you'll see that in just a second. So I'm just, like I said, I'm kind of doing these at a little bit of a little angle, creating that little, I don't know what you might call it, like a playing card hand looking thing, like if you're playing a game of cards and you've got your they're kind of fanned out. So I start looking at this cutter. Can I cut that sheet right there, or those papers right there? Nope, can't do it. So I use my scissors to come down this first side. Now, once I do get this side trimmed, I can use the cutter on the second, but this is it's just too big the way it was assembled. So I'm going down this side here. It takes me just a minute. I'm okay. Like, I'm not going off or anything like that, but I'm not going to sit here. Well, I guess I was on the side. It was all right. But I use my cutter on this side because I prefer, it's a little neater. And, well, again, I don't think I can really tell on the other side. I did think about inking the edges of these things, but I just decided against it. Just felt like, nope, didn't want to mess with it. I do look at my picture here, and I'm like, okay, I want to mat you. And I have some pieces of scraps I thought might work. I even looked at that square there, but I didn't want to have a weird one side one color, the other side another color, whatever. So I pull that pink paper back out because I do like it. But then I realized, oh, wait, I do have some other scraps over here that are bigger. So I pull these ones out. And I have this one that has like a little gray background. And then I have the floral, and then I have the pink. And I decide that's the order I'm going to mat my photo in. I do trim off the branding strip, and I start to actually mount that photo. And you'll see me struggle with this just a little bit. I start to mount it way over on the edge. And I thought, no, the whole point in picking this sheet was that gray. Stop doing that, Christine. So I bring it back toward the middle a little bit more so I have more of the gray. But then I realized the pictures on there kind of crooked, and I got to straighten that up. And then I struggle with that a little bit. And, of course, Saturn has decided to join me again. Now, I'm actually going to leave her alone for just a second, thinking it's not that big a deal. But then she starts messing with my computer keyboard and setting on it and all that stuff. So I have to pick her up in a second. That little pooter, I don't know why she feels like, see, I have to pull my thing back up because I got to have that layout in front of me to kind of reference. And she'd set on the keyboard just so where it like backed out of my screens or whatever. Okay, so I've gone ahead and I cut the first mat, and now I'm going to grab this other page here, and I'm going to cut this second mat. And in a minute, I'm also going to decide I want to scuff these edges. Now, this photo is actually bigger than the one in the sketch, but it's okay. I honestly love how this layout turned out, and I'm actually so happy that it didn't take me that long either. As I mentioned in the intro, these are not going to be in order in any kind of way, these videos I'm making today, because I'm going to actually record some more videos in a minute that's going to come before this one, but it's okay. I needed time to do these videos, and I'm like, I need to do some quick layouts here. So I was really pleased with that. Now I'm scuffing these edges. I'm going to cut away because you don't need to see all that. So this is a little bit of editing I did, and you'll see now I've got those all scuffed, and I've kind of matted the photo on the layers, and it looks good. Now I've pulled out this ephemera, and I am not going to think too hard about this. I was really proud of myself because, y'all, there's many, many, many times I sit and I think so hard I can't get going or whatever. It takes me forever. And I was really proud this time. I just kind of like, I laid them down. I didn't, and I think a lot of it has to do with, she had clusters and stuff around her photo, and she had some florals and this and that, but I didn't really have exactly the same or even similar in a way. And so I didn't, sometimes I think when I try to match something in a layout or make it look the same, it's like, it's harder than just going, okay, what would you do, Christine, if you just stuck these down here? So I start off with that because she had a little bit of stuff going up on the upper right or something like that. I don't remember now, but I end up organizing this just a little bit differently. And also, I'll be honest with you, I did not know what I was going to entitle this thing either. I was really not sure what I was going to entitle it. And I found that little piece of ephemera that says lovely. And I was like, oh, I know it could be Isn't She Lovely? So I'll end up figuring that out in just a second. And I was really proud of myself too because I did not know my title. I was like, I had no idea. But that lovely kind of helped jumpstart a title. I've got those little pieces of ephemera. One says Dream Big. The other is a little chipboard piece, which that's another thing I was really proud I used. These little sparkly chipboard things are layered chipboard, I guess is what it's called in the kit. It's a little hard to use, and I really don't know why. They're pretty, but they're glittery, and I'm not sure that I'm really a glittery type person. But I ended up using up 2 of these pieces. I probably should have picked up a third, to be honest, to create some kind of little visual triangle, but I didn't. I liked how this turned out. I didn't want to add too much more to it. I was happy with how it went. So I do not add a third piece. I just used 2. Here's where I'm picking out the title, Isn't She, off the thickers. And I used all lowercase on purpose. And then I was really kind of proud too because I don't think I do it right this second because I do kind of fast around a little bit. I pick out the letters because I know that's what I need to do. And y'all, I need to go back and look. I'm not sure I added my dot to my I. I don't remember now. I don't remember doing it. That's so crazy. I'll have to go back and double check. But I lay those down there just to kind of see how they're going to, the size and that sort of thing. And then I'm picking up a few other pieces of ephemera. I did use a frame thing behind the picture, like that pink. It's got a pink floral and it had some frames. And honestly, I would probably have cut that as well. But again, I'm trying to use this stuff up, so I did not cut it. And then I've got that little green frame that says My Love. And then there's a little yellow one on the right-hand side. They all have like little word phrases, things like that. And I've got this lovely, and I'm kind of wanting it to go out to the right a little bit. I want it to extend past a little bit. So I'm trying to get this chipboard piece to work, but I'm not loving it. It just looks a little strange. I'll try this key, because I have this gap, you know, between lovely and the photo. Well, that's when I find this little piece here, which has got this little clock. And initially I was going to let the little clock be the thing, or I don't know how you want to call it, like the gap filler, the little image that fills in the little gap. But then I decided to go ahead and use that little chipboard piece. So you'll see that in a minute. But I do like how that little piece of, I don't want to call it ephemera. It's part of the noteworthy, so it's bigger. And it's a big square with a little image on it. And I do like how that kind of grounds everything or creates like a base for the other pieces. But I still go ahead and bring in this other little piece of layered chipboard. I don't use the one I originally had set down there, but this one I think looks okay. It does cover up the clock, but I'm okay with that. So that's kind of how my stuff's going to go. So now I'm going to start fiddle-farting around with it, trying to glue it down. And I started to glue this down by itself. Then I thought, oh, I better attach that picture first because I'm going to end up messing this up. From a spacing standpoint, I needed it to go certain way. I do end up gluing my picture just a tad crooked, so you'll see me, I do it not just there, but even later I'll end up fastening around with it and trying to fix it. But I do get my little frames, little gilded frame looking thing. I do end up putting the little dream, it says Dream Big, I end up putting some foam tape under it, and I'll put a little foam tape under the little layered chipboard piece right there as well. It wasn't laying exactly right, I guess, because of the multi-layers on the photo for whatever reason. So I decided I need to put a little bit of foam tape back there. That wasn't necessarily a plan per se, because this layered chipboard does already have dimension, but once I started trying to lay those pieces down there, I go, oh, you're not laying exactly right the way I want you to, so I'm going to have to add a little foam. So I'm just going through and adding some foam. I do like how that turns out, though. I do like the dimension it creates, and it's not too terribly tall. It's all right. It'll be fine inside the album. So here's where I'm just adding just a few little pieces. I just kind of check to see if stuff laying, without being, I guess, squishy, if that makes sense. So I'm going to take off my little pieces here, and I'll end up laying that down. I also I thought about Nuvo drops. I really did, but then I thought, I don't want to overcomplicate. So I will end up pulling out my Lindy Stamp Gang here at the end. I'll show you that. It's, I forgot the color. I think it's like cotton candy maybe. It's a pink, and I just kind of do some sprinkles, but you'll see that here at the end. Here's just where I'm kind of doing this top-down glue stuff because I don't want to mess with pulling it up. Y'all, I still hadn't picked up that press and seal thing at this point. I do need to go to the grocery store today, so maybe I'll pick some of that up. I got to think about that. But I'm just kind of gluing my top down. I like where everything's landed, and I've got my letters up there. I'm going to put I thought about putting foam on the lovely, but no, I'm going to layer this chipboard on top of it, so that wouldn't really make any sense. And I'm honestly kind of creating this similar feel that on the back sheet, you see all those frames. And I'm just kind of layering these frames to look, it gives a sense of, to me, it just gave the same kind of sense as the back page, that last layer there. There's my head. Not that you couldn't see that, so I guess I needed to point it out. Here's where I realized my picture is just a little bit crooked, so I'm going to have to straighten it up. It wasn't a lot. It was just enough that my eyeball was a little bit offended. So I'm trying to glue all this stuff down. Y'all, it's just such a hot mess sometimes when I'm trying to glue with this big old gun. I do like this gun, but sometimes it is a little bit cumbersome to get up underneath there. Got a little glue to rub off. So now I'm going to glue. I'm going to have to use my Nuvo glue. Got to get a little bit of wet glue here. I am almost certain now that I'm watching myself do this that I did not put my dot on my eye. I'm going to have to go back and look at that. I do find a little apostrophe for the isn't, because the title ends up being, well, I can't decide. Should I be My Love, Isn't She Lovely? Or is it just Isn't She Lovely? Maybe it's just Isn't She Lovely. It doesn't really matter, but that's kind of what I end up with here. And I'm really proud because I do go back to my little chipboard, the thickers, and I find an apostrophe, and I use a question mark. I was proud of myself on that one too. I'm going to start gluing this stuff down here real quick with this Nuvo, though. That works really good. It'll keep it from coming off in the future. I'm not going to make you watch me glue every one of these letters, so I'm going to cut away as soon as I'm kind of wrapping up the gluing part, because that's not terribly interesting, is it? So here I am. I've glued down the last of that little bit, and then I'm going to go ahead and pull out that question mark, Yeah, here's where I find the question mark. Because in my head, I'm going, you know what? I'll bet there's a question mark on there. Because it's kind of a nice little set of thickers. There's plenty of, I shouldn't say, the vowels are always a struggle, of course. But there's actually there's uppercase and lowercase. And there was plenty to work with. I thought, I think there's apostrophes and things or question marks and stuff on there. So I was kind of proud that I thought about doing that. Because how many times do you really use a question mark or an exclamation? I mean, maybe exclamation points. But question marks, I think, are a little more challenging to use on a title. So I'm gluing all that stuff down with Nuvo glue. And I'm actually getting to be almost done, y'all. I really thought this turned out so pretty. I really like this. I like the collection as a whole. And then I just kind of loved how this inspiration layout really, helped me use some of this stuff up. And I'm actually just really proud. I've used quite a bit of the ephemera at this point. Now, the only thing I'm kind of disappointed in myself is I did not pull anything off the sticker sheet. And I'm like, I didn't even think about it until after I was done. I'm like, well, darn it, Christine, you didn't use anything off your sticker sheet. The sticker sheet does have a lot of squares, though. I will say it's an older style sticker sheet, so you don't have all the little icons and stuff. It's just a lot of squares, so it's kind of hard to use. Here's where I'm using that Lindy Stamp Gang, and I'm just sprinkling it around the layout. I love how that's turned out, y'all. I'm not going to lie. It's so pretty. I showed it to my daughter. I mean, the picture's pretty. The layouts, the papers are pretty. It's just, I thought it would just turn out real pretty. Well, that's it. I'm going to show you guys here. Then I'll show you the stills in a second. Thank you so much for watching the second in my series. I'm going to keep going. I'm going to try to get this collection used up maybe next month, but it's probably going to be another month or two. And we'll see you next time. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.